You can never get the same amount of emotion from CGI or green screen. If it's not real, you won't. You're not gonna feel like it's like there, like people are actually in danger. You can see, you can tell if it's green screen. But with like real planes and real sounds, you're gonna like, oh no, this is real, isn't it? Yeah, this movie is meant to be seen on Blu-ray, not 720p. 1080p is supposed to be seen in, because it's the water. It's like, I'm not talking about the water, the sea right now, but I'm talking about the land. What does water have to do with the land? Not a single Nolan film is meant to be seen on DVD. This movie especially is meant to be seen on the big screen or on Blu-ray, or possibly even 4K. But I stand by Blu-ray being my favorite physical media. Um, but this movie looks beautiful. Like the water, the sand, everything looks awesome. One thing this film masterfully does, um, like you don't need, it doesn't have any like characters. You don't see personality in them. You don't really need to sympathize or empathize with someone. If you see someone in danger, you're gonna be like, "Oh no, okay, come on, get out of there." That's like a soldier's perspective. Like you see a soldier, you don't know who he is, but he's like drowning. You're gonna immediately be like, "Oh, come on, get out of there," not knowing who they are. I think that's what Nolan's trying to do with you, making you think like you don't know who any of them are, but you still care about them. You want them to get out. I think my favorite parts of the movie were the sea and the air. Like I don't know which one is exactly my favorite, the sea or the air, but those two are easily like some of the best, because the water and the Blu-ray looks amazing. The Yeah, that's what I like about the water parts, the sea parts. The Killian Murphy, that his character, he's traumatized. You can tell, but and then when he wants to go back, and then the guy, I'm garbage with names, and plus this doesn't have any like characters, so I can't remember the names. The older gentleman, he was like no, and then George, he was like no, and then he pushed George, Killian Murphy, he pushed George, and then he hit his head, and then he eventually, spoiler, dies. So George's friend was like, no, he hated Killian Murphy's character. I feel like, but he didn't. But he didn't like, ah, oh, you killed him, because that would just add on the pressure and the burden. He's gonna be like, even plus with his PTSD, he's gonna be like, oh man, I killed that kid. So he's like, he's fine. He told him a lie, so he doesn't have to carry that burden, which is like, it sounded so cool, the movie. Like I just used the speakers like that's built in the TV, but it sounded awesome. I wish I would have seen that. I started getting into movies in like late early 2021, late 2020. So I wish I could have seen a Nolan film in theaters, but especially this one. I think this one would have been awesome, but and now movie. I was excited to watch Tenant, but but then the world like, yeah. I can't wait for his new movie, whatever it is. And Quentin Tarantino, I had a chance to watch it in theaters, but I didn't know who he was, and then I'm like, so. Tom Hardy's character, all the sacrifices he needed, well, not all the sacrifices, knowing he had like 15 gallons, and then he switched to the reserve, and then he turned back to Dunkirk, knowing he's not gonna have enough fuel to go back home. The closing shot, spoilers, it's just him like staring at his broken down plane and catching on fire, and then him being taken away by the German soldiers. I think that was very symbolic. That was like, oh man, he gave up his whole life, his chance to go back home, just to save the 3,000 men on the, well, like just to save a lot of men on the beach, which was like very inspiring. Now I talked about the air landing, like the air ending. Now let's talk about the sea ending. Killian Murphy's character, he goes off like scot free, thinking, "Okay, I didn't kill him." Now he just has no. It's not good that he just has PTSD, but it's better that he doesn't have even more weight to put like more weight knowing that he killed the kid. That was a good ending. And then one of my favorite endings to like a arc, like a story arc. At the end, there are one of the soldiers. This guy's friend, I think, he was ashamed knowing that he failed like them, like in that war. But everybody was like celebrating, like, yeah, you got home, and he was like, what? But we failed. But so that this movie makes you see that humanity was is once or will always be good. So yeah, you cannot give up on humanity. Now rewatching this, I just need to finish the Batman Begins, and then I will rank every single Christopher Nolan movie, which I am excited for since he is my favorite director. But I do. People say this is like a very boring, it's very slow. I no, no. It's like Tenet. It people don't like it because it's confusing and I like this very much. Every single movie of his is amazing. So yeah, look out for that. And what are your thoughts on Dunkirk?